Hello my friends, Audrey here. In today's video, I'm going to introduce you all to my new Hoya series, the Hoya Spotlight. In each video, I'm going to talk in detail about one particular Hoya, what I learned through my research, and what I learned through my experience that's different from the research. So in today's video, I'm going to start this series with Hoya Australis. So those are my two Australias. Here is Australia's regular grand leaves one, and here is Australia Lisa. Those plants are found in Indonesia and Australia. The other name for this plant are called porcelain flowers and honey plant. The flower blooms started in the winter and it will last all the way through the summer. The flowers attract a lot of butterflies and bees, but the fragrance can be really overpowering. I have not had flowers bloom on my plant. As you can see, they're kind of a little bit tiny, but they are really easy plant to grow and they grow really fast. Taking care of these type plants are pretty easy. They're like typical Hoya plant. If you overwater it, it will cause root rot. But on the other hand, if you underwater it, the leaves started to show a little bit crisp. And you can see my plants, I have not watered them for 2 weeks, so the leaves doesn't look very dehydrated. It looks like it's glossy on the leaves. But once you water those plants, the leaf will bouncing back really quick. As a tropical plant, you definitely don't have to water them that often, and that is why I haven't been watered this one for 2 weeks. I should start water them this week. Actually, in the summertime, normally I water my Hoyas once a week, and the winter times it depends on how the weather goes. If it's a cold, humid weather, I don't water them for at least 2 weeks, or if it's warmy and has some sunny weather, I water them maybe once every 1.5 weeks. So they're pretty easy plants. If you know what they like, it's very easy to take care of. Like a typical Hoya plants, the Australias definitely need a lot of sun. So I put my both of my Hoya Australis on my windowsill, so they have really good light throughout, from the morning all the way to like mid-noons or some early afternoon. Through my research, I found out that they really love indirect bright light in the growing season, but when it started to produce flower, you should decrease the light a little bit, so the morning light or the afternoon light will be really good for them to produce flower. As I mentioned, I have not had flowers on my Australis, so I really don't know if this statement is accurate. Well, if it's not accurate, we'll tell you guys later on when they flower for me. As a typical Hoya plant, Hoya Australis thrive in temperature between 65 to 70 Fahrenheit, but it can withstand the temperature between 50 to 60 during the winter times. As you all know, my plants are set on my windowsill, so it definitely can suffer a little bit on the cold temperature. So I had to pay attention on the cold temperature this winter for sure. The Hoya plants loves humidity, but this particular plant can withstand humidity between 40 to 60%. And normally in the winter time, when I have heat going on, I like to put a humidifier around all my Hoya plants to help with the humidity issues. I already mentioned that I water all my Hoya plants in the summer once a week, and the winter time I will drag them to 2 weeks. But I love to check on the soil too. As you can see right now, my soil is kind of bone dry, so, and also the leaf shows it definitely needs some waters, so I'll water them today, but always check them before you water them, so it's easier to recover from underwater than overwater. When you started with a root rot, it's really hard to recover from it. And fertilizer wise, I use all-purpose flour on most of my plants, and it's growing really good. And I also, during research, it said they don't really require a particular fertilizer for them. This year, actually, I tried something new. I tried worm casting on all my Hoya plants. I just drop a little bit worm casting into a water bucket and then let it sit in the water overnight, and I'll use this water on my indoor plants, and then I will dump the rest of the water with the worm casting outside in my garden, and this seems to be really fun. And after I ran out my worm casting, I started to use the fish fertilizer. It's definitely one of my favorite fertilizers to use on all my plants. I really don't like chemical, and I feel like for fish fertilizer is a very organic way to go, at least in my opinion. You might have your own. If you found one fertilizer that you really like it and works really well, then stick with it. And you know, I don't think they're that fussy with fertilizer like orchids or other plants. Keep an eye on those insects on the plants. Overall can help with the insect infestations. As I mentioned, I have some mealybugs infestation, so I actually just cleaned up my plants about a week ago with another mealybug infestation. There's still one in here. I don't know if you guys can see it. It's just sitting right there, and there's some more in here. So I found out that my Hoya Australis and Australis, their mealybug really love those plants. They love to sit on those tiny new leaves. So it's definitely one of those plants that I will check constantly on mealybugs. Other thing I found about Australis is if you see a yellow leaves, it could mean that the temperature is too cold for this plant to handle, and the leaves start turning yellow. And if you see a leaf dropping or a blackening on the leaves, or even dieback on the stem, it could cause both by cold and by the poor drainage soil. So there may be a root rot in your plants, and you had to, you know, do some cutting. And actually, this is one of my oldest Hoya Australis, and I cut the mother plant. I can't even figure out which one is the mother plant, but I cut the mother plant into several different branches and rooted individual branch, and that's how I got so many different branch. Some take off really fast, like this one. This one's probably the biggest one, so this size is all from one branch. And then this is the one poorly, just have a little bit growing on the tip. This one's the branch died off on one tips, but it started to grow out another little branch. And then we have another one right here, just started taking off. And we have another branch is actually died in the middle, and then we have another one in the back. So it's very easy to root this one for sure, and it can take off really fast, but not every single cutting is gonna be taking off equally. So yes, but it's a very easy plant to root. Even on my Australia's Lisa, as you can see, I actually have several branches in here. I already started to cut this one back. So this is my mother plant, and this one is actually a cutting that I cut from the mother plant to root, and it's already started to take off, so which is really exciting. And this is probably one of my favorite plants. Before I end this video, I would like to show you my beautiful Hoya Australis Lisa. It's one of my favorite plants. I haven't talked about this one too much this summer because it didn't grow this summer. I don't really know why. It just grew maybe 2 or 3 of the new leaves right here and a little bit right there. And the new cutting did not grow at all. It's still the same as is. It didn't die. I can see from the leaves the cutting was fun, but I'm guessing it's maybe just growing roots in the bottom and not really taking off on the leaf side. So that's why I haven't talked much about this plant, but look how beautiful those leaves are. Oh my gosh, it's such a beautiful plant. It always reminds me of watercolor painting. I know I mentioned that one before in other video, but it's definitely one of my favorite plants to look at it. And I really hope this one can start taking off. Hopefully next year, so I can have a beautiful bigger plants of the Hoya Australis. So this is the end of my today's video. I hope you all enjoyed this new series. As always, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys on the next video. Happy growing!